Okay, so the next thing we want to look at, or we're going to try to look at, is, let me get my pen up. So we're going to look at odds. And odds, we throw that around. We know it's related to probability. Mathematically speaking, though, do we know what it looks like? And then the second thing that we need to look at, that we'll have to be aware of, and it's the reason why I gave so much space, is there's two different types of odds. The odds in favor, both of these problems are written as odds in favor problems. And if we ask, or if you hear someone say, well, what are the odds of something happening, we can assume that is odds in favor. However, there is something called odds against, and we'll address odds against. It's not any more complicated. It's one small tweak to the formula, if you will. And so we'll look at that with both of these. We'll actually calculate odds against on both of these, and we'll look how odds in favor and odds against are related to each other. So odds in favor is actually a compound fraction that involves probability. So odds in favor is the probability that it happens. And so this is a fraction, and we're going to put that over the probability that it doesn't. Okay, so this will be a fraction over a fraction. Okay, so looking at number 8, while the odds in favor of spinning an A on the spinner. So the first thing we'll do is calculate the probability of spinning an A. And so notation-wise, that's probability of A. And A is, we got 1, 2, 3 A's out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections, if you will. Okay, so 3 out of 8. Okay, so the probability that A happens is 3 out of 8. The probability that A doesn't happen, or probability of not A, is we're going to count all the other things. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things out of the total. So the probability of A divided by the probability of not A, that's the odds in favor. So probability of A divided by the probability of not A is 3/8 over 5/8. Okay, with a compound fraction like this, with the same denominators, we're going to pull the 3 and the 5, make that 3 to 5, or like this. We may like that a little better, 3 to 5. Okay. So this particular problem right here, I'm going to change pen colors just to show that what we did. Now, this is going to work this way every time, so you don't have to show all this that I'm about to show, but just to show this is not magic. 3/8 divided by 5/8, that translates to 3/8 times 8/5. Okay, remember, to divide fractions, you flip and multiply the second one. These 8's cancel, and that leaves you 3 over 5. So that's how I got 3 over 5. And every time you do these odds, either in favor or against, you're going to have that same denominator of your total number of possibilities. So this will happen every time. You'll take the numerator of the numerator and the numerator of the denominator to make your answer, to make the odds in favor. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to red. We'll go down to number 9, and then we'll look at odds against. So now we know the odds, or how to calculate it. So we'll go through this a little quicker. The probability of, well, not A, excuse me, probability of drawing a 5 is 1 in 5. The probability of drawing not a 5, or something other than a 5, is 4 out of 5. So then if we calculate the odds, in favor, 1/5 over 4/5, or 1/4. Or as we kind of like this a little better, probably 1 and 4. Okay. So odds against. Odds against is essentially just a inversion of the odds in favor. So I'm going to swap pen colors again. Let's go to this. So odds against, and I'm going to shorthand this definition. It's going to be the probability of not whatever A is divided by the probability of it happening. Okay, so if we were to calculate odds against in number 8, so we'll do number 8, odds against, then we would do 5 over 8 over 3 over 8, or 5 to 3. Okay, again, doing the simplification the same way. So, and essentially the inversion again of odds in favor. Okay, the thing that I'd also like to draw your attention to is either in the odds in favor, odds against. If we look at, let me swap something else here too. If we swap to, look at these numbers, the numerators in both of these add up to the denominator, and keep in mind that that should happen every time. That's one of the checkpoints, I guess, that you could look at. Is that these are the things we want to have happen, these are all the ways it couldn't happen. So these things should add up to the total, which is our denominator in both of those fractions. Okay, so odds in favor, odds against, just a slight tweak, we just swap one with the other.